Hello ladies and gentlemen, today I am just showing off this fun color swap that I did. Now, this airplane here is my #1 favorite Lego set of all time. This is Lego set 7893. It's a Lego City airplane. It was called Passenger Plane. It's from 2007. I wanted this set so bad when I was a kid. And this was actually the inspiration for the custom 707 Singapore Airlines model that I've been creating, and you can see that elsewhere on my channel. But I always wondered what this would look like if they did it in red. Lego has always made airplanes in blue and red until the last few years. So in this original line of airplanes, there was this set, there was an airport, and that airport came with this airplane here. Now this airplane is basically the same part, uses the same parts, it's just color swapped. And so I wanted to know what this airplane would look like in these colors. So that's what we did. We swapped the blue for red. And so I thought it was fun. I don't know that I'm terribly in love with it though. It's nice, but this red doesn't mix very well with this dark bluish gray line here. So it makes it kind of hard on the eyes. Now the tail looks great. The engines look great. I think the red pops a little against the white quite nicely, especially with the big white wings. This is the only airplane that featured a white wing. All the other ones had gray wings. However, a few years later, I think probably 2010 or 11, Lego came out with this airplane model. And this is my second favorite airplane that Lego's ever come out with. I think it's just a very typical, basic looking, 737 or ERJ, 175, kind of your Embraer or typical Boeing, maybe even an Airbus. I think the cockpit is maybe a little elongated to be an Airbus. I've always felt like Airbus planes had a very stubby nose. But anyway, I think this is a really fantastic airplane, and I think the colors look so nicely. It's giving a very like Qantas or Virgin Atlantic, Virgin Airlines, with the big red that kind of swoops down underneath. And I think the color scheme on this has got to be one of my favorites. So I actually did go ahead and order all the parts to get more of these red underside pieces for the undercarriage here. And I'm going to swap this plane out to have this color scheme. So we're going to utilize the red empennage and the red undercarriage, as well as the red engines. So, and I think I'm gonna swap the wings and the horizontal stabilizer for gray as well. This is light bluish gray. I think I'm gonna swap those two because I think that would look really nice. I think it would look like a really good airplane. Then we have a pretty good lineup of these red planes. So anyway, that's what we're doing here. I will. I guess I will show that off when I get the parts. Some of them should arrive today, some of them should arrive tomorrow, so yeah, we're looking good. So anyway, this is the greatest Lego airplane Lego has ever made, and I say that because, first of all, it utilizes this cockpit piece. Now this cockpit, I just think looks the nicest. It's the nicest Lego cockpit for airplanes that Lego's ever come out with. Now, this one is also a really nice one, especially on this little airplane. I love this plane. This one looks like a CRJ, 200, CRJ 400 kind of a look to it. But this cockpit is really nice. It's got that sort of that indent in the nose that a lot of airplanes have, and I think that looks really nice. But this one just looks so pretty. I do think that this wing design is a little bit thick. A lot of airplanes, especially modern planes, the wings are maybe a little longer, or I don't know, a little thinner. I just think they look really wide. However, I still think they're really pretty. And Lego recently came out with an airplane that had a better, more thinner wing. However, the cockpit just looks terrible. The cockpit looks like that of an Airbus A380, which would be really awesome if we had like the double decker like the A380 was, but they don't. It just makes it look like a really beefy airplane on a really small scale, especially when you compare it to, minifigures. So, yeah, so I think this is the best plane Lego's ever made. They came close with this one, I think, and I think it's only gone downhill from there. In that line, so these planes both came out in, I want to say 2011, if I'm not mistaken, and they came with this airplane in that lineup, and I thought this was a really fantastic cargo plane. However, I think the one that I have the most fun swooshing around is this cargo plane. And the reason I say that is because this one is turboprop. So it's got the propeller fans instead of the engines. And when you take this out into the yard and you run really fast, I guess you don't even have to go that fast, but when you start running around with this one in the yard, the wind will start moving these propellers, and they'll get going pretty quick. And then you can kind of slow down even, and they'll still just kind of maintain their pace. And I think that's so much fun to fly around with. So anyway, Lego needs to come out with this cockpit again, because it's the prettiest. All the best planes have that cockpit. I've basically shown off almost my entire airplane collection at this point. As far as the ones that Lego's created anyway. So fun stuff. I think sometime I'm gonna, rate the airplane video, kind of come up with, show off all the airplanes that I think kind of rank all of the airplanes that Lego's come out with. But this one's definitely my number one. Like I said, I really wanted this set as a kid, and I was able to win it on eBay after it retired as a 10-year-old, and that was my first big eBay purchase. So, fun stuff. I like it in red. I don't know that I love it in red, and I'm going to try and swap the colors out and see if that does anything. In order to do that, I am going to need to swap the that dark bluish gray for the light bluish gray that you see in this model here, which means I'm probably going to have to get another cockpit piece. And this is a sticker. That's a sticker there, and I don't love that, but what can you do? So anyway, there you go. Lego, if you want my opinion, this airplane, best one you've ever made. Do more, do better. And yeah, thanks for watching.